Dans le monde de your podcast 100% dedicated to beatmaking and DJing. I'm your host, Chris DLM4. We're here, off season. I hope everybody's doing great. You're doing great with your relative and you also during this holiday season. We're here for an off-season episode and a great one. We have the honor to have a special guest during this week, this month. The beatmaker that we exchanging with has been working with Russ Million, Gazo, Kids, Rondodasosa, Timal, Impliqué 140, Paki, and much more. J1 GTB is in the
J1,
building. What's up, G?
Bro, we here. We are, bro. We good.
How you
you doing?
Man, I'm great. Happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Thanks for you to pulling up, bro. Thanks to you.
We're here in the middle of the camp that you're doing. One week camp.
Yeah, 1 week camp.
We're in the second half of this camp. How it is going?
Really, it's going good. It's productive, as you can probably see on my eyes. I've been working. We're like,
overtime.
Exactly. We're getting a little bit of sleep, but we gotta keep productive. You know what I'm saying? Keep working.
Right.
Artists been passing through. We got 2 different areas to work. So
okay.
We work with one artist and another one pulls up, goes upstairs. We're making beats.
Okay.
2 different stations.
Without spoiling anything, it's going great with the artists that are pulling up. Everything's fine.
We're gonna see at the end. We got some special heads at the end of the week. Like some people that's supposed to pull up, but we gonna see before I say anything.
Of course.
Don't jinx it.
Of course, we know how it is for the beatmakers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've read that you're based in Switzerland.
Yeah, I live in Switzerland.
Okay, born and raised.
Born and raised. Yeah.
Okay.
For a while.
Okay. Tell me more about it. How was it growing up in Switzerland?
Growing up in Switzerland, listen, I can't speak bad about Switzerland because it's still a good country. You don't have any problems with like health or anything. But I mean, just the mentality. It's not like in France. No one would even think about doing music. You don't think about doing anything other than studying or going to do an apprenticeship, internships and stuff. So it was like a different path that I took. Honestly, and Switzerland is
the first thing is that you speak French, but you were born learning more English than
that's
French.
My mother language. Yeah, my mom, she speaks English.
Okay,
my dad,
shout out to mom.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to mama. And she taught me English, and they basically my parents met.
But you were in the French side or in the?
Yeah, I'm on the French side.
Okay, yeah. That's dope. And how did you cope with French in the environment, the French environment, while speaking English on a daily basis?
It was, to be honest, it wasn't that complicated. I learned it fairly easily, actually.
Okay.
Then I still up until now, I still make faults when I'm speaking French. But I mean, I can still speak the language.
Great. And growing up, how did you become familiar with music?
My mom again.
Yeah.
Shout out to mom again. Really,
yes.
She bought me when I was 9. Randomly, I can't remember if it was for my birthday or not. And she just pulled up at home, and she had what's it called in the name of the keyboard? Akai 49.
Okay.
The MIDI keyboard, and she brought me Ableton. And she started paying for like piano lessons that same day, like all of that same day. And she was like, you know what? I feel like you should do music. It's a good way for you to like channel your emotions. Just do that. And ever since I've just been in the music.
That's dope. And for how long are you doing beats now? I've seen that it's been 3 years, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, around 3-4 years, but like that's when I took it seriously. But if I've been doing music, I've been playing around with FL Studio since I was like 9.
Okay.
But here and there,
a long time.
Yeah, I discovered it.
So you're part of the Ableton Club, Ableton FC.
Nope, that's where that's
the
where
switch.
Exactly. Like I was on Ableton, but I wasn't understanding anything.
Okay.
Like, it was madness. It's really something for like professionals. You give that to a 9-year-old kid, it doesn't really work out. So
I know more DJ using Ableton than music producer also.
It's really something where you gotta you gotta understand music a bit already to use Ableton. Or you
Okay.
could learn it, but it takes a while. So
Okay.
I saw some videos on FL Studio and I was like, yo,
It
this looks
seems
simple.
easier.
It looks easy. Like people just clicking buttons like that. And so I downloaded it and it was
Okay. Great. Well, a lot of years have passed. A lot of things happen. And in our podcast, we have a very special format, a very special show sequence called Check the Credits, in which we love to know more about the music, the connection between the beatmaker and the artist. So we have picked some songs that you've produced or co-produced, and we would like to know, well, you tell us anything that you want about the background of these songs.
cool.
The first one that we have picked is Ombre, Shadow in English, by Impliqué 140, that you've produced with AKS and Scarla.
Yeah. Shout
How
out
did
to
shout out to them?
Shout out to them.
How did the connect occur with Impliqué 140 teams, but also the other guys?
Well, to be honest, like when I started drill, I started releasing like sample packs.
Okay.
So basically, at the beginning, it wasn't working out too well. Then I released my second. When I got Big Shark, I released my second sample pack, and it just blew up.
Okay.
I was still in school. I was receiving notifications of like people everybody just wanted that pack. So I was sending that out.
Okay.
It was free. All you had to do was like sharing your story, comment, tag 3 people. And that was it. Like the video and follow. It was easy, right? To have a sample pack, and it was fire. So that's how it came about. Like Scarlett downloaded the pack. He used the sample, and that's how I got the placement.
Okay, great. It was a way to be known by using
it's like a marketing technique.
Yeah. Great technique. Okay, great. Next song that we select, we talked about it. Big Shark, Russ Millions, with Chi, JSH, and YJ.
Big Shark?
No, sorry, it's Reggae and Calypso. First Big Shark with the Rexon beats.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell us about that song.
Rexon, I mean, the beat is...
Man, there is a dark atmosphere on the beat.
That beat is really... I can't lie. I gotta say, that beat for me is harder than Reggae and Calypso. That beat is crazy.
I agree.
Thank you very much, bro. That beat is different. It's not like any other beat.
I like Reggae and Calypso, but Big Shark, man, that's something else.
Crazy, bro. It's a vibe. It's a whole vibe. You know what I'm saying? So how'd that happen? Basically,
you told us you was in school.
Yeah, no, at that point I didn't have my packs already.
Okay.
So I was like I heard what's the name of that Abracadabra song that Rexon produced? I heard that.
Okay.
And
so he was inspired.
Huh?
He was inspired.
What you mean?
Inspired by the...
yeah, if I was inspired. Yeah, I was inspired by the song. So I went and looked them up. Then I saw like he was posting beats on YouTube, right? So I went in his description. I found his PayPal email.
Okay.
And I sent him samples. I just went for it, you know.
Okay.
Take risks, guys.
You have to.
It's worth it. It's worth it. And I sent it. And he made some beats with him. He posted on YouTube. And next thing I knew, like a month or 2 later, we just had that. We got that placement. He was freestyling on Snapchat. And so I got the placement.
Great. And next, after that, you told us about the mail, the notification blowing up.
Yeah, after that, that's when like followers started pulling up crazy. I was like, what?
DM from other artists also?
Other artists, bro. Boomijal hit me up, bro. That was crazy. And yo, again, shout out Boomijal too, bro. Yeah. He hit me up and I was like, yo.
He had a placement on the Metro project on Spider-Man. That's dope. Boomijal.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy. So, bro, just saying, like, imagine that, bro. A small nigga like me just getting DMs like that. I was like, oh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's going somewhere. Going somewhere. So, yeah.
Okay. Next songs, Reggae and Calypso. Obviously, you have to speak about that song. So, you became a little bit familiar with Russ Million, I guess. So, you continue to set him other beats. How did it came?
Basically, honestly, that beat, it came about, we made the beat on Discord, right?
Okay.
So I was my other bros, bro. Shout out Chi, Josh, YJ, we together, bro. And we made that beat. And yeah, they just sent it out. They sent it out and got placed. it's not really like a big story behind it.
Okay, but a great song, at least.
Crazy song.
Okay, great. Next song that we have picked is 30, Rondodasosa. First of all, the music video.
Crazy.
William Thomas, shout out to him.
On my life.
Man, bro, tell us about that
Real
song.
movie, bro. There's no other like...
Because, sorry to cut, but Rondodasosa also worked with Russ Million, so...
Yeah.
Is that the reason why he connect with you in order to have a beat, or...
To be honest, I don't know. I heard that Rondodasosa was talking about me even before we made that song.
Okay.
So like, I don't know.
It was co-produced with NKO and NKO. Sorry,
NKO again. He found my sample.
Okay.
You know,
man,
used it.
Your sample been traveling.
My sample, literally, like, honestly, without kidding, I think 30% of the drill songs that exist, there's like at least a sample of mine in them, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
and I still probably don't even know all the songs I got my samples. I'm still discovering them every day.
Man, that's dope.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's dope. Okay, so then he hit you in order to have the beats. He used it with NKO maybe. And you saw it like everybody else that the song was going out, the 30 songs.
Yeah, bro. I saw it like, yeah, no, NKO hit me up and he was like, yo, we got a placement with Rondo. And I was like, okay, yo, for real? Shit crazy. Then after like a week or two later, I saw the song and I was like, yo, this actually fire.
And you knew about the music video then?
What do you mean if I knew about
that he was about to do a music video for the song?
Nah, at that point it was already over. It was just like the last, the week or two before it releases, there was nothing crazy going on apart from probably like the editors making the video and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Through your credit, we can see that you also like to work with other beatmakers. You told us about making a beat in Discord.
Yeah.
So what do it look like? What's your process working in Discord with other beatmakers? Do you have a process or?
To be honest, it's just chill. We vibing, you know. We just be in there. We making jokes. We laughing. Then we could be laughing 1 minute, and then the other minute we just making beats. Everyone's just making beats. We chill. Whoever got melodies, send them over. Samples, anything.
Talking about melody, are you more melody guy, drum guy?
Well, basically, yeah. I would say like I started off as a melody guy.
Okay.
But I do drums. This is like. That's why I'm here too. Like I don't wanna stay like as the loop maker, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wanna.
And what's your take on that? A lot of people are talking bad
about loop makers.
About loop makers these days. I don't know if you're seeing what is.
Give me an example.
A lot of people are complaining about the fact that a lot of loop makers send emails to many people, for example, and then if a song is going out, another beat makers is hearing about the same loops or concerning deals and everything, it messes everything up. For example.
Well, honestly, on that, all I could say is that ask the people that are complaining, like, are they sending out the same beats to different artists?
Okay.
And I could guarantee you, like 90% of the people are gonna say yes. Okay. So it's the same thing. It's a grind, right?
Yeah.
You gotta get your placements. If you don't send out your beats here, and there, you're not gonna get no placements.
But
stop
maybe
complaining, guys.
Sorry?
I told them stop complaining.
But just maybe changing the strategy when sending the loop to different artists because there are saturation concerning the mailing, maybe.
I would say like you could, but I mean you just be losing
opportunities.
Opportunities, and you don't know like when the placement. Most of the time, you don't even know when you get a placement.
Okay,
it's like last minute. So what am I? I'm gonna wait like 2 months for a guy to release a song and then hear about the loop being used.
So in order to continue to grind, you have to send the same loop in.
It's exactly. It's a grind. You can't.
Okay. Understand. Next songs that you have picked is a song with Young Madz. Madz, 2099 Jersey. In the selection that we have is one of my favorites. We have no vocals, but the beat's crazy, bro. Just want to dance, bro.
Yeah, bro. We made that beat on Discord together too. That's another Discord beat.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
Beats go crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fire, bro. When he was making it. was unexpected, to be honest. I didn't expect it to go crazy, but it worked.
Mm-hmm. And he got a lot of instrumental project, this guy. So is it a will to you also to have like a instrumental project, or it was just, as you said, just chilling, vibing in Discord? And
to be honest, we've been thinking like what could we do to like kind of stand out a bit more, you know? And we've been thinking,
and maybe attract some other artists just by putting out
different vibes. You know, we didn't want to stay on the same thing. We wanted to make our own, like. So we've been working on funk Jersey. So that came about while we was thinking about some other stuff. And
okay, I need to dive more into the project, so because I've heard it while seeing the co-production, but I need to check his work. Okay, but the Discord is going crazy.
Discord, I'm telling you, y'all that are not in the young Madz Discord and y'all making beats, I'm missing out.
Okay, great. We got 2 more songs. This one also is one of my favorite that we have selected. Météo, weather in English. Kodes, Gambino, LaMG, that you produced with We Made It.
Yeah,
man, this song also is the hook by Kodes is
it's crazy.
Something.
For real, like that song when we made that one, we made it like when we went to that camp in Nantes.
Okay.
And yeah, for the whole camp, we was listening to that one song, bro, like all through. The samples fire. Shout out to Louis. Samples fire. Drums go crazy. I mean, it's like the perfect recipe.
Yeah. And the featuring between both guys, Kodes and Gambino, went crazy, bro.
They did some crazy shit for real. Like, they went crazy.
I agree. I totally agree. Last songs that we've picked is Bootyshake by MALTY de Baiser.
Yeah.
Co-produced with Nada
1K.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Tell us about that song.
To be honest, like that's another one of those beats like where it happened without me knowing.
Okay.
Like a sample.
Yo, J1, we got one. Like
right before the release.
like less than 24 hours.
Nah, I would say like a week or two again. Like
okay.
It's the same thing, or probably a bit more. And yeah, it was just like a sample picked from one of my sample packs again. Go cop the sample packs. DM me if you need them. And he used it, got the placement.
Okay, great. That's dope that you just got a contact and people are telling you that you have a placement through this marketing technique that you're starting with.
Yeah, they work real good.
It's crazy. To produce these songs, there are obviously some secret tools or not that you're using. When it comes to Drumkits, what are the latest ones that you really tapped in?
I've been using for trap, I've been using the Mike Zara stash.
Okay.
That kit is, it's crazy. That kit is really it's my go-to kit, you know.
For those who don't know about that kit, what does that give you in order to improve your beats?
Everything. Literally, I can't even like
explain.
There's no explanation. I can't express like how many sounds there is in the kit that literally everyone needs. It's crazy. Oh, and BWB.
Okay.
BWB, I think everyone knows about them kits. And for drill, I would say definitely I use like my kit and Eraz's kit.
Okay.
Yeah, Eraz's kit is crazy too.
We're gonna put everything in the description for those who are interested in.
We'll put it.
Great. And next to that, what are the latest songs, projects that you're listening to these days? Could you give us, like, for example, 4 songs
that I listen to?
Yeah.
To be honest, let me pull on my phone real quick. Let me see.
We have time. We
gotta check it. Let's see. We got The Geek and Hard. Okay, I've been listening to 500 Pounds by Lil Tecca. That's crazy.
Okay.
For sure. I listened to a lot of Lil Got It.
Okay.
360. Lil Got It's fire. Let's Get It by Huncho and Want Me Dead by Young Thug.
Okay. Great combination. And are there also artists that you would like to work with, or you just F with their music?
Definitely Lil Got It. Lil Got It, bro. He's my go-to. Like, I listen to all their songs.
So we'd like to work with him.
Yeah. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if the link up happens soon. Normally,
you have to tell it to the management. We won't spoil. We won't spoil.
We're gonna see.
Talking about management, you're part of Night Shift Records with D11, Shinobi, but also ED and Jay's Too Cold.
Yeah, Jay's Too Cold's my brother.
Okay. Didn't know about it. Well, after the interview, I will have to check more the faces.
No, I understand. It's like
okay. This way. Okay. My bad.
No. He's actually my brother.
Okay.
Like blood brother.
Relative.
Yeah, we live together. Like.
Okay. Is NBU the manager who contacted you, or how did it happen to connect with the Night Shift team?
NBU, bro, he's like, seeing that he's like, Jay's Too Cold is my brother.
Okay.
That was his friend.
Okay.
We've known each other. Everyone knows each other.
Okay.
Where I live. So, we used to hang out together, and at one point I seen that he was taking music seriously. So,
okay.
I was like, you know what? There's a lot of shit happening. That was the point where like Big Shark released and 630, and I was like, yo, this is a lot of work right now. I can't do music and be
exactly.
writing emails, reading up contracts.
And you're not just working in France, you're working in France, Italy, UK.
It was so that was the part where like everything was really just raining down on me. So I said, you know what, let me take a decision. Bro is super serious. He's doing his shit. He's grinding. So why not?
You're all grinding at the same time.
Exactly.
So.
Why not give the opportunity to someone in Switzerland? Probably could have found someone somewhere else, but I mean, yo.
Yeah, we can see why
Switzerland need to go up.
Yeah. We can see what Ozzy is doing with the US, or for example, we never know. We never know.
That's what I'm saying.
But great. And I guess, like you say, it enables you to strictly focus on the music.
Exactly.
Because, man, France, UK,
if I
Italy.
had to do this by myself, I wouldn't be able to set this up by myself. Honestly, I couldn't do it.
That's great. Shout out to the team, to the whole team.
Shout out to bros. Too cool.
This season on the podcast, we have received a lot of beatmakers that are part-time doing beats, but also working or studying. In your case, with the team, do you already make a living of music, or are you still studying? What is your, in order for other beatmakers to know more about your how it is structured for you? So
I dropped out like in November. Yeah, November I dropped out. Then after I just started. I was living off of the music. Started from there basically.
I didn't even ask about your age. Sorry.
I'm 19.
Okay, 19.
Yeah.
Man, makes me old. Okay, 19. Great. Well, with the management and everything, I guess it's well organized.
Yeah. Now it's better. It's a struggle at the beginning, but we making it through.
That's dope. So you told us that you were 19.
Yeah, 19.
At your age, at your level, which advice could you give to a beatmaker who's starting, who's eager to have a big placement, for example, whether it is in France or abroad? Because even though your story has just started, the path that you have is quite special.
Yes, it's a pretty good path. I mean, if I go straight, normally everything should work out. You know, and what the advice I could give is honestly, if you really want to get to an artist, bro, just know you could get to him. It's 100%. You just gotta have like the right people you could get in contact with, either a beat maker. I know some beat makers with like 2,000, 3,000 followers. You contact them and you could get to someone crazy, right? So it's all about the connections, really. Your beats don't even gotta be that fire. It's connections.
Yeah, great. That's how we are contacting a lot of beatmakers also, because they don't have that many followers, so you can get through them. And like you said,
they got fire placements. And one more thing, it's like, don't listen to people if they bring you down or like hating on your music. It's there
is room for everybody. There is room for everybody.
There's room for everybody, and like in Switzerland, because like nobody does music, so it's you starting to make music, and then you got big goals, you got big dreams, and people don't want to hear nothing about that. They're like, what's this Swiss kid finna do? People ask me for beats just to hate on them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
yo, make me a beat. I make the beat, and yo, the beat's doo-doo, bro. It's shit.
But it's evolving in Switzerland, because on the French side, we have the Super Wack with Makala, Slimka, and everybody
I mean, it's
that is
starting.
doing their thing. Yeah.
It's starting, but like, look when it started in 2023, and we're not even at that point where music is working. So, but yeah, I want to see the music scene evolve. It's gotta like become something.
Are you still based in Switzerland?
Yeah, I'm still living in Switzerland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well, it was interesting and great talking to you, J1.
Thanks very much, bro.
We wish you the best for the end of the camp first, and the rest of 2023 and more.
Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot for having us.
It was nice meeting you, bro.
It was Dans le Monde 2 off-season episode with J1 GTB. Shout out to the whole team for the invitation, and we wish everybody the best. We will see each other in following weeks, months. It was Chris, DLM4, DELAMUSICOPOLIS. Peace.